Subscribe to Eckovation and press the bell icon to watch the latest technology videos first.
Hey guys, welcome back to this fantastic tutorial presented to you by Eckovation. So in the previous video, we had deployed a very simple smart contract where we can store a name or an unsigned integer. One thing I would like to show you is the EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine, which is nothing but the Ethereum blockchain, doesn't understand Solidity. It has first to be compiled into bytecode. This is the bytecode it gets compiled into. You can check this bytecode here. So this is the bytecode it gets compiled into. And this is the script of the above language. If you are aware of Bitcoin scripts, you know what this language means, or the operation codes. So this is what the EVM doesn't understand Solidity. So let's move forward and add some more nice features to this smart contract, get a little more blockchain type. So let's add a constructor as well. We added two public functions here, my function and return value. You can name it whatever you want. Let's also add a constructor. So what is a constructor? A constructor is a function which has the same name as the name of the contract. In object-oriented programming language, we also have a constructor. So in this also, the constructor means the same as object-oriented programming language. Let's define our constructor function hello world. Now the difference between a constructor function and any normal function is that the moment you have defined this function and the moment you deploy this function, this constructor is called during the deployment. I'll repeat, this constructor is called only and only during the deployment. Once your contract has been deployed, this constructor won't be called anymore. This is the feature of the constructor. So now we saw how to store the unsigned integer, how to store a string, very simple programs. Let's check how to store an address. Here we are given 5 addresses in JavaScript VM. In injected web3 we have one address, that is the address of the MetaMask, where we will inject our smart contract in whichever network you wish to select. I showed you how to get some ether from the faucet. Main network, you will need the real ether, that is real money. So if you are trying to do test smart contracts, it would be wise that you don't do it with the help of real ether. This is all free ether, this is not real ether. So here I am given 5 addresses with 100 ether each. Okay, this is completely for free. Anyways, we would like to store the address of the creator of the contract. Okay, so the creator of the contract is going to be none other than the deployer of the contract, correct? The creator will also deploy. In certain cases, yes, it might not be the case, but in 99% of the case of the situations, the creator of the contract will also be the deployer. So let's declare a variable with data type as address, and he will be called creator or even owner. So how do we know who was the deployer or the creator of the contract? By this line, creator is equal to msg.sender. So this is an inbuilt keyword in Solidity programming language, which is called msg.sender. Okay, it is called msg.sender. Now what does msg.sender? msg means message and sender is the sender of the message. This basically means that whoever is calling this function, okay, when you call a function, when an address calls a function in Solidity smart contract, that address is called msd.sender. Okay, the value of this is an address. Okay, so whoever calls any function in the smart contract is called as msd.sender. I had shown you Solidity documentation. So in that we also have msd.sender as well as many other global variables. If you go in Solidity in depth and units and globally available variables. So in that you can see msd.sender, the sender of the message or the caller of the function. We also have msd.value, msd.sig, now is for the timestamp, block.gas limit, block.difficulty, block.coinbase, block.msd.gas, msd.data. So there are many inbuilt variables which are available for Solidity. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, when we deploy this smart contract, we are also calling this constructor function. Okay, the moment we deploy this smart contract, we are also calling the constructor function. So whoever is deploying this smart contract is also calling the constructor function. When I say whoever, I mean the address of msd.sender. Hence, we will store msd.sender in creator. Okay, you can also write public here to read his address. So now this is my address. We can check the first 5 and the last 5 letters of my address. Let's deploy this. The moment I click on deploy, as you can see, transaction creation of hello world pending, and it got created. Because it's just on JavaScript VM, that's why it's so quick. To write a bigger smart contract, you will have to, it will take little more time. We have something called a contract address and also something called an account address or an externally owned account address. So there is a big difference between contract address and an externally owned account address. Contract address is the address of this contract, okay, the one which you deploy, and the after you deploy, it is not controlled by any human. It cannot be controlled by any human. It's always controlled by the blockchain. You can only make calls to the functions which are defined in the contract. Okay, if you even have a delete function, you can make a call to the delete function, delete contract function, but you cannot control the contract. It is in no one's control henceforth once it is deployed, and it has an address called the contract address. While these accounts are called as externally owned account, which have public and private keys, which are controlled by humans, by us. Okay, these accounts have public and private keys, so it is controlled by us, while a contract account is not controlled by anyone except the blockchain itself. So the terms and conditions of a smart contract are bound to be executed because it is not controlled by any person. So anyways, we deploy this smart contract, and let's check the creator of the function. As you can see, this address with first 5 letter, it's in caps here, and the last 5 letters, this is the creator of the contract. As mentioned, with this address should be the creator of the contract. So like this, we are storing the creator of the contract, who created this contract. So I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time, guys. Bye.